What's going on, guys? JayeDeBlack here. Salute to everybody that's tuning in. In this video, I'm going to speak on a very unfortunate story that started last year in regards to a former NFL player by the name of Doug Martin. Now, Doug Martin passed away last year, and we had no information. At the time, I didn't. I just saw that, he had passed away on social media. And I didn't look too deep into it because there wasn't any information that I had at the time. Well, we found out more information into what happened with Doug Martin, who played his college football at Boise State. He got drafted in the first round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the NFL. He played, it looks to be, 7 seasons he played in the NFL. A talented running back, but from what we've learned with this new information that we have in regards to the family's lawsuit against the police department, who they feel like are the reason why he lost his life, he was battling mental health issues. And apparently he broke out of a mental health facility and got into a situation with the police. I guess they claimed that they were going to a breaking and entering situation. That's where they came upon Doug Martin, and he resisted arrest, and then he ends up losing his life. And the parents, they're suing because 36 years old and he's gone, and they want answers. And obviously the police department aren't giving them any. That's why they're suing. If the police department was transparent with them and gave them more information as to what happened to their son, I don't know if they would be suing. Maybe they would, but I just think that these police departments are so arrogant and they don't feel like they owe the families of victims any answers, because in the police mind, he's a criminal because he was committing, in their minds, a criminal act. That's why the police were called to that area. Was because they're saying that what they would believe is because of him, and they don't feel like they owe the family anything. That's police departments for you, right? So we're going to get into this. This happened in the city of Oakland, California. So that's what we're going to do with this video here. It's according to TMZ. Doug Martin's family claimed excessive force by police played a substantial role in his death last year, and they're taking the matter to court. Douglas and Leslie Martin filed a lawsuit against the city of Oakland, responding officers and an ambulance company this week, saying they want to get to the bottom of exactly what happened to their 36-year-old son on October 18th. Unfortunately, litigation is a mechanism to best get that done, attorney John Burris said. So the family's trying to get to the truth. And again, they're not being transparent. They don't feel like they owe the family any information. Apparently TMZ got a hold of the body cam footage. I will link this in the description box. Y'all can go and check out the body cam footage. At the time, Oakland PD said Martin was involved in a break-in and died after he became unresponsive during a brief struggle with responding officers. I wonder how a guy who was perfectly healthy at the time ends up, after a short, brief struggle, losing his life. Martin's family said that he was experiencing mental health crisis at the time of the incident. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this is mental health. The mental health of black men has been deteriorating for quite some time. That's why when I see people try to rage bait black people, especially black men, not understanding the amount of PTSD and mental health issues that are going on in the black community with black men, especially a guy who, again, was an accomplished college football player, got drafted into the NFL, had a brief NFL, 7 years. It's a decent amount of time, right? And he's been out of the league ever since 2018. I'm pretty sure that did a number on his mental health. And maybe he has been seeking to get help from it, but that's what a lot of black men are going through a lot of mental health issues in this country, but people don't want to hear that. They just want to look at what, the symptoms of, they see the behavior of black men, and then they want to immediately brand them a criminal. Not understanding there's something going on underneath the surface, but nobody wants to have this conversation. Body cam and surveillance footage was released earlier this year showing officers restraining Martin after tracking him down. The clip shows a struggle, but several minutes of the video was not released. Y'all see that? Several minutes of the video was not released. You want to know why? Because, even though Doug Martin hasn't been in the NFL since 2018, the guys probably still had the same bulky size that he did when he played. I'm pretty sure he put up a fight. And when you do that, those officers are going to feel some type of way. And if it is true that they left several minutes of the video out, that's not good. And I see why the family is suing, because the police department, they're not being transparent like they should. In the lawsuit, Martin's family stated the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back was held face down as officers pressed on his back, and they believe that the restraint contributed to his death. When officers turned him on his side, the suit noted how they thought he was either sleeping or pretending to be, and only called for medical help after he remained unresponsive. That's crazy. So he'd been struggling that whole time, but you got him in handcuffs and he's pretending to be asleep. Are you serious? The family is also taking issue with paramedics, claiming they took more than 15 minutes to respond to the call and did not rush to provide medical care once they got to the scene. The initial autopsy results have not been released as the family requested further review. Burris stated a second autopsy was also conducted. A pathologist determined for now the restraint, asphyxiation, was the cause of death. So that would mean that the police department is responsible for that. This man was perfectly healthy. He had mental health issues, but he was perfectly healthy. He didn't have any health issues that we know of. He lost his life while they were restraining him. And accountability needs to be had. People want civilians to be accountable for their behaviors. These police officers need to be accountable for their behavior. Policing has gotten worse and worse, but everybody wants to blame the civilians. All right. Burris revealed Martin's family sent his brain to the Boston University CTE Center, but noted the disease might explain his behavior that night, but not his death. Martin was a first-round pick in 2012 in the 2012 draft and played for the Bucs and Oakland Raiders over the course of his 7-year career. It's very interesting how the Oakland Raiders was the last team that he played for before his NFL career was over. And now he's no longer here. This is sad because it's very clear to me the family is suing because the police department, who are supposed to be transparent, they're not being transparent with her or with the mother and the father. Excuse me. Because they know they're hiding something. They know that those officers did not follow protocol. All right? They are, from what it looks like, they are responsible for his death. Just my opinion on what I've read. It's just my opinion. And that's why the family's suing. And they may have a case here. Because police officers should not be let off the hook for being sloppy. They were sloppy that night. Doug Martin didn't just pass away. They were the causes of it. Now, again, people say, well, don't struggle. But he has mental health issues, and police officers should be trained when they are dealing with people with mental health issues. Now, you will say maybe they didn't know at the time. But again, you're supposed to be a trained officer. Not everybody can walk around acting like police officers, right? You're supposed to get training. You're supposed to be people who are vetted as far as being public servants. Now, again, Doug was going through things. I'm not about to sit here and excuse his behaviors to why, but was he actually breaking in? That's what we need to understand. What was he breaking into? Was he at an ex-girlfriend's house? We don't know. But people resist arrest all the time. They don't end up deceased afterwards. So yes, the police owe the family an explanation. the police should be held accountable for why he's no longer here. I don't think that's too much to ask. You want accountability from civilians, you need to be accountable to when these type of situations happen. While a man who's perfectly healthy loses his life while being apprehended, detained. But I'm sure that somebody's going to blame Doug Martin and claim it's his fault. When you have officers who are supposed to be trained in these situations, who do not follow the protocol, who get in their emotions and get emotional, they get mad, right? So I hope the family can get the answers that they seek. I think they deserve to get closure in this situation. It's very unfortunate what has happened, but we will see. Let me know something in the comment section. Roll your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow all my social media platforms, and I'll see y'all next one.